Hi, guys. Remember me? I'm still alive. I'm still around. I decided just yesterday. Okay, I've been in a cocoon. I've been just walled off to the world, reflecting, going within, keeping my circle really tight and small, and dealing with some things that I'm not going to go into here. But I decided yesterday that one thing that I do want to do, because I created this channel right here to be originally an offshoot of my true crime channel that I did delete. Let's just give a brief thing in a minute about that. But because it does pertain to the home we're going to talk about today. But originally it was going to be an offshoot because I realized that like I was like doing too many things under one umbrella, and that was created for that case, and that it sort of spun out into all these other topics, victim advocacy, trauma recovery, um, healing of a variety of things, and coffee talk, and all that kind of stuff. And so this was going to be an offshoot, but I did close down my other channel. It was originally, sometimes you do something, and this is going to be this poem too. Sometimes you do something thinking you're doing it for one reason, and then after you do it, you realize, like, oh, okay, I have a broader picture here. So there was some pretty significant aggression directed in my direction. Um, Sometimes the universe creates aggression to get a person sort of unstuck out of a place. I'm not saying that was correct. The magnitude of that. I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying that I utilize the energy of that. And I knew absolutely 100% when I pulled the plug on my channel that it was the right thing to do. And it was really the only thing to do. And you know how you have that sometimes, like it is the moment. And there were two options, there were two buttons in front of me. And one of them was just like, mm-mm, this is the one. I had no ambivalence about it. I had no regrets afterwards, and I felt instant relief. So it really was profound that I did that. And, on reflecting, there's um, been quite a few things that I've been learning. And one of them, that channel grew very quickly, and, nearly 8,000 subscribers in a short amount of time. And and I wasn't anticipating that, nor really seeking that, nor prepared for that. I wasn't even that familiar with YouTube at all. I was just as a sort of sporadic watcher, but it was not that was not my intention, and it was unmanageable for me. Now I can see that in hindsight. I am not built for that role. I don't have good skills in that role, like single-handedly managing that degree of enormity. There was a lot of input coming at me, and, just a lot of new expectations placed on me suddenly. There was a lot of engagement with strangers, and all of the mixed bag that comes with that. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And some things managed I have some skills at being good at some things, and some things I'm not good at all. I made some decisions with that channel of how to manage the trolling, because it remains bizarre to me that this culture of this is just like part and parcel. Like if you're gonna if you're gonna start a channel, it doesn't matter if you're gonna show people how to bake bread or whatever you're gonna do, or show them how to crochet a stitch. You just have to be accepting that people are going to be rude and nasty to you in a public way, and that you just have to accept that that's just part of this culture. I think that's bizarre that we've all normalized that and let that just be like, okay. Like that does not exist anywhere else in your life. I always use the Walmart example. Like you're not we don't have lives where we're like pushing a grocery cart through a grocery store, and strangers are coming up to you and banging you with their cart and telling you how ugly you are, or how your shoes suck, or how you shouldn't buy that food, or what a terrible person you are, or making a character analysis of you based on your grocery cart. I mean, we just don't have that in our lives, but that is YouTube, and I think most content creators leave because that burns them out. And I've had a lot of communication in this last month from other content creators about how incredibly stressful that is. And until you've been in that role, you don't really know that. People think that you just can shake that off. So I had a system for shaking that off, which you guys all know, that one strike policy. And then I felt like it was part of my deterrent that, okay, if you're going to occasionally, if you're going to make a nasty comment to me, I'm going to take your public facing comment and I'm going to put it on a billboard. So let's share it with the class. Not so much to harm the person, but to hold them accountable to their own words. I never went for anybody that hadn't struck at me first. Never, 100%, never did. That hadn't come at me in some way first. I'm not excusing that. I think in hindsight, I wouldn't do that. And if I continued developing this channel, I would do that in a more silent way, primarily because it was a deterrent. I had less trolling. It was effective, but also people out there, you don't know who you're dealing with. And it sort of created a monster at the same time and allowed someone else to harness that energy of those hurt feelings of boundaries being set on people's bad behavior. And then it, came at me like a tsunami. Did I deserve that? No, I didn't. However, it was a consequence I didn't anticipate. So I wouldn't do that again. Also, I think that in doing that, people that were sincerely connecting with my material that I've been putting out there were stressed by that. And so that wasn't worth it either for that reason, to stress other people out. If I don't know what I'm gonna do with this channel, but if I am to develop it, I'll keep the one strike policy, but I'm gonna do it silently. That's it. Simply because I protect my mental health. And if you show me, as Maya Angelou says, the first time somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And if you're gonna come into my space when I'm offering nothing but like a healing environment or something like that, and you tell me I'm a psycho or whatever you're gonna tell me, I'm just not, I don't want to hear from you again. It's that simple. And like, no, I don't feel like I deserve a conversation with you. You're a stranger who's just, striking out at me with your poison. So no, you take your poison arrow and go do that somewhere else. So anyway, that would, like I said, I don't know where I'm going with this right now, but I do know that I have received a lot of emails, supportive comments, messages in various forms from other content creators and from people who have followed me on the other channel, saying they do not miss my true crime coverage. People are not missing that. People are missing my coffee talks, my poetry sharings, really just, I think my superpower is that I'm just living a life having traversed a lot of tragedy, a lot of shit, homicide, schizophrenia, child abuse, all of that. And I have crafted a pretty amazing, beautiful life that I'm landing in for the duration. And I'm not going to jeopardize that for anything or for anyone. What I realized is that after kind of that aggression came, as I said, it's like shot me out of a cannon. The energy of that tsunami came and just caused me to pull the plug on my channel. I've had a lot of self-reflection and awareness, and one of them is that channel really started overtaking me, and it started consuming me in a very sort of addictive way. And I think that just happens. I mean, there's research on that about how it starts, things like that can start really affecting your brain, actually. And I thought I was immune to that, but I was not. And so when I got away from it, it's been sort of a detox from that. I've never been addicted to anything in my life, but that felt addicting. And that, I mean, we would have my stepdaughter for the weekend and I'd be freaking going on a live for 2 hours when I have limited time with her. That is not my usual behavior. My husband, God bless him, was not confronting me, but when I pulled the plug on it, he was very relieved, and so was our daughter, because they were feeling this like pulling me away from them. And so I've been looking at that. That's not worth it. And part of the ways that I have this what I think is a beautiful life is because I've invested in myself and my actual life. And I was kind of stopping doing that. So it's like, I'm not even going to have that to offer anymore because my life is becoming a YouTube life and not the life that I've carefully invested in to become this person that has something to offer to the world. I think that I do. True crime is a slippery slope for me. I live in a world of true crime myself. Right now, we're embroiled in a very serious appeal. I don't get away from that. But choosing to overly invest myself in the world of true crime is a sticky wicket. And it is also pulls me into this feeling of like owing, and I need to be there, and I need to that's not from anybody else. That is from me. That's not anybody else putting that pressure on me but myself. And that, I have something to offer, so I need to offer it and stuff. And what I need to offer my energy to is myself and my family and my life. And so I've been looking at that too, like, does my identity really need to be wrapped around true crime? I don't think so. Oh my God, that's a dragonfly. That dragonfly was literally just knocking on the window. So these are some things that I have reflected on. And there have been things that have been sort of, feeding me and getting me back fortified back into myself in this period of time. I've been going through this sort of letting go and reconnecting phase, which I'm still very much in. And I'm still in a bit of a self-protective space. There's been some really nasty predatory behavior that has been directed at me, and I'm not letting that in at all. I'm not exposing myself to it at all, and nor am I going to allow myself to be vulnerable to that here. So comments will be off until if and when I'm ready to turn them back on. Because yeah, I'm not, I'm not going to, boundaries. That's the boundaries. So I will protect myself. With that being said, though, I do wanna share some things because I was just yesterday thought, "You know what? I'm gonna create a poetry medicine cabinet." So I'm gonna create a playlist on this channel. I don't know what else I'm gonna do with this channel, but I am going to do that. Create a playlist of the poetry medicine cabinet. Like I have had many poems that have fed me for decades that I go back to. And this one I'm gonna read you today, I have read dozens of times in the last month. And this very much describes the decision I made about closing down my channel. I am sorry that that was abrupt, and I gave absolutely no forewarning, but I had to do it in that moment. I had no regret. I had instant relief. I just knew, absolutely knew, this is the right thing to do, and it was the right thing to do. And it created breathing space for me again. And it created safety for me again. And, I mean, my cozy little heart space at my channel became unsafe very quickly. And that can happen in this very fickle, strange world of YouTube. That can happen. I've seen it happen with other people as well. So I don't know how much I'm built for this, but I do know I have things to offer. And for many of you too, what you have to offer is just simply being yourself. And and so, I don't know how much of myself I'm going to share. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know right now. But I do know when I do know things, I act on them. So what I do know is that I want to share my poetry medicine cabinet and create a space where people can come. And if you just feel like you need to hear some words of people that are oh, hang on, my foot is asleep. People that are much more eloquent than me, that have guided me, I really do think that there's medicine in poetry. I really do. I mean, it's been the case for me. And I think people responded to that when I was sharing things like that over on the other channel. And so I want to provide that for you guys. And that if you just need to come back and revisit and hear some good words, um, that will be there. I'm going to put on here, though, where this poem starts because it's been a long preamble, but I felt like I had to reintroduce myself to those of you. And thank you to those of you who have been supportive and sticking with me and reaching out and all that. It's really, really meant a lot. So without further ado, I think I've said enough. I am going to read you The Journey by Mary Oliver. I've read it on the other channel. Many of you have heard this poem many times. You're very familiar with it, but I don't know. It's just a poem that is needed in some situations, and it absolutely describes what I went through with the closing down of my channel. And sometimes we just have to say, we have to absolutely grasp and claim the ending of something when we don't even know the beginning of something. We don't know what's beginning at all. We are just going down this dark road, but we know it's not going to be that. I'm in an origin story right now, you guys. I can feel it. I am in an origin story. I'm almost 65 and something is beginning. I don't know what it is yet, but I am in an origin story of something right now. I feel very brand new, and I'm still going to stay in my incubation until I have clarity about that. But part of the clarity is I wanted to create this poetry medicine cabinet for you guys and for myself. So that's what this channel is going to be until it turns into something else. But I'm going to start with reading The Journey by Mary Oliver. We're going to kick off the poetry medicine cabinet with this poem. So here we go. The Journey. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried, but you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late. Enough. And a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds. And there was a new voice that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. That's it. Sometimes we are the one and only cavalry. And oftentimes when we make that commitment to saying it's not going to be that, and I'm just going to leap, support comes in, sometimes where you least expect it. That's for sure. Thank you. Stay tuned as poems come up. I'm going to share them here. Again, I'll figure out where this poem starts, so you could just come back here and go right to the poem if you need it. Hope you all are doing well out there and enjoying this fall. Watching the leaves fall, our yard is full of dead leaves, is so fulfilling also, because it's like the beauty in things letting go. Like the trees are most beautiful, like right before they let go, and all the colors and everything. And in the dying off is sometimes the most beautiful thing. So that's really resonating with me as well. I hope you guys are doing great out there, and stay tuned for the next poem. Not sure when it'll come, but we'll keep it going. Take care.